Okay, so let's talk. How did we even get here? I know that's the question that a lot of people have. Let me just start by saying this. I think that over the years, I've lost a piece of who I am. The closer I get to the Lord, the more He reveals to me exactly who I am. And then I'm reminded that, oh yeah, I remember that girl. Like, I remember who she is. It's just an amazing dance that I am participating in right now where God is doing something. I'm receiving revelation, not only revelation of what's going on and who He is, but also who I am. When I say that I am scared, it is coming from a place of not scared of who He is, but scared of the things that I am going to discover. Because a lot of those things sometimes come with letting go of certain things. When I was younger, it was so easy for me to let go. Like, what happened to that? I feel like we've reached our 30s and letting go just became so much more harder. I don't know if it's the kids. I don't know what is it? Why is letting go so hard? I remember being able to let go of something and it just be letting go. There's no bad blood. This is just no longer for me. Where now I just feel like I want to keep everything close and keep everything secure, and it's a bit of control. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's a bit of control. That control has to go. Like, I can't serve two masters, right? I can't do what I want to do and expect the Lord to do what He is going to do. Like, I just can't. I've definitely fallen in love with just the whole surrender. He has shown Himself mighty every single time. He never ever fails me. It could be the littlest thing. I was talking to my sisters a little while ago. We was talking about my surrender and just like how I'm just like, I mean, it'll happen, whatever. And the Lord even showing up in those moments to show Himself. Trust me, it's not a easy thing. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. And I think the Lord has been so gracious to me to have allowed me to see Him, allowed me to see His hand every step of the way, and gradually grow in faith, and gradually grow in belief in Him. He's never failed me. And so what I stand on right now is everything that He has showed me, and He has never ever failed me, ever. And He never will. And I know that for a fact, because this relationship that we have, I'm just certain of. It's like no other relationship that you could have. You just for certain, like, you just know it. You just trust. You just surrender. You just love. And like, His love it empowers you, right? It empowers you to the core. Like, you surrender and He empowers. You surrender and He empowers. And not all the time does that look good. Sometimes it's tears, and sometimes it's hurt, and sometimes it's all of the things, but trusting that it will turn in my favor, and that my Father has the best in mind for me, keeps me grounded. And I hope that it keeps you grounded. But listen, I don't want to go on and on. This first episode is super big for me. A good foundation here is one that you guys can get a bit of an understanding of who I am. And I feel in order to really understand who I am, you have to see where I come from. And so this episode, I interviewed my grandma. I'm super excited to share her with you all because she is my best friend. She is I have no words for my grandma. She's everything to me. And if you know me in any way, you know how much I love my grandma. And so I'm excited about this episode. Check it out. So, Grandma,
Yes.
my best friend in the whole wide world,
Yes.
my girl, tell me, like, where are you from?
Oh. Well, actually, I was born and raised probably in Newport News, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, Evelyn Ely, and my father's name was Carlton, Carlton, Ely.
Mm-hmm.
Him and my mother met. They were at a dance one time. My father was kind of shy, and my mother was very shy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he walked up to her and started talking, and she started talking to him, and the rest is history.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she adorable? And so I want to pop in on her speaking about her grandmother and how much her grandmother meant to her, and also how much her mother meant to her, and how these strong women grew up in a house together. Listen to this. Your mom lived with your grandma for a while, and I thought that was so unique because you remember your grandma.
Mm-hmm. We called her Mama
Mm-hmm.
because my mother, she raised us calling her Mother.
Mm-hmm.
I raised my kids calling because the mama and the mother was always already taken.
Mm-hmm.
So I raised my children calling me Mommy.
Mm-hmm.
When my father left to get a job in New York, my mother moved in with my mama.
Mm-hmm.
And then my aunt, which is my mother's sister, and she had 2 kids. My mother had 5. And my mama was living there by herself, so in this big house by herself. So they moved in, and we stayed there for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I graduated in 1962, we were still living there.
Mm-hmm.
Mama is the only person I can truly say that was an angel. I never heard her curse. I never heard my mother curse for one time. But she didn't know I was standing behind her. She got her finger caught in the refrigerator door. But anyway, my mama, I never heard her curse. And she really took care of us because my aunt worked and my mother worked. And so we were there with our grandmother, and she was such a sweet lady. I never heard her raise her voice. Once a month when she would get her check,
Mm-hmm.
she would go to this store called, I can't remember the name of it, but they closed down. But she would go to this store and she would have her shopping bags with her. She had her shopping bags rolled up and up under her arm as she was walking. When she would come around that corner, we'd be playing in the yard, and she would come around that corner, and we would stop what we were doing, because she always had, that we knew of, she always had a box of animal crackers. She would get the large box. We would always sit there and wait for her to open her bag, and she would give a few animal crackers to each one of us, you know. See, she didn't believe that you had to have so much in order to do that. And we thought that was the best thing in the world. I'm serious. We thought that was the best thing in the world. These are things that we remember.
And so I guess you can kind of see where our relationship stems from, a very, very strong relationship with, you know, through generations, mother, daughter, grandmother, and that has just been passed on. Me and my grandma, like I said, are best friends. She practically raised me, being that my dad, I was raised by my dad, and so all of the, you know, feminine help, you know, that I needed, that hands-on help that I needed, it came from my grandmother. I'm just so grateful for that. My mother is a wonderful woman. She is from my home state, St. Louis. I bet you didn't know that. My mother lived in St. Louis. I have brothers and sisters, and when her and my dad split, she stayed in St. Louis. Dad moved to Maryland to pursue his dreams, his big dreams. And I am just so grateful for that. Even the act of, you know, my mom seeing that the best for me and my sister was to go with my father, and it actually being the best fit for us. I'm just so grateful to her in the decision, that hard decision that she had to make sure and assure that her girls were brought up in a space that was healthy.
My grandma speaks very fondly of her grandma, and some of the things that I remember also is her being like a darker woman, but she was darker woman, but she married a white/Indian man. And grandma always talks about how she loved that man, so they loved each other
so much.
You said that even when he passed, she talked about him all the time.
You said, when the Lord calls me home, I'll go up there to see Tommy. His name is Thomas. I am going up there to see Tommy. You know, and they loved each other. She cared for him because he had kidney disease, and she cared for him until he died. My grandfather, he was in business for himself. He owned a fish market. He was referred to as a high class person. That house that we lived in with my grandma, he built that house, had that house built.
Wow.
And when he was bringing up his kids, like my mother and my mother's sisters and brothers and things, they had everything. You know, they had everything. So they were like high class, and he had his fish market, and quite naturally we ate plenty of fish. You know.
You also would talk to me about how your mom was very strict with you, with you all actually raising you all by yourself. How she would really, like, you know, they were in church all the time. You know, she played the piano, and if she heard them even talk, the organ, and if she even heard them talking or whip anything, she'll look over at them.
I still can see that mirror now. She would set us. Make sure we sat where she could see us when she go up to that piano, and she looked in that mirror. All she had to do was keep an eye on us by looking through that mirror. Whenever we saw her do this, like that, we knew we were in big trouble.
And so, how many siblings do you have, Grandma?
I had one brother and 3 sisters.
And 3
So it was 5 of us in all.
5 in all.
I was the oldest.
And Grandma was the oldest. And listen, I'm the oldest daughter. And so that comes with a lot. I remember Grandma saying that she used to do talent shows at school.
Oh, yes.
Grandma came up with this song called Wild Child. And listen, that's enough. The name in itself will tell you how my grandma was. The song was called Wild Child. And Grandma wrote Wild Child.
I wrote it, I played it, and wrote it.
Can you give them a sample, Grandma, just a little bit? People call me Wild Child. Wild Child.
I can't help the way that I am, oh yeah. When I was in the 12th grade, I went and got my sisters and my cousins. We sang that song, boy, we tore that song. Everybody was just like this because, see, I had taught them how to alto and soprano, and they knew all the songs. Way I am. And I say, that's the way I am. And they would say, way I am, way I am, Way I am, way I, oh, way I am, way I am. And while they were saying way I am, I was saying, that's what they call me, and that's the way I am, the way I am. You know, I can't remember all of it, but it was a bad song.
If you don't know, my grandma was married before. She was married to who I call my pops. They did not work out, and we kind of get into a little bit of that. And so I'll let her tell her part of the story.
You married quickly after school. Was it high school?
Well, my first marriage, I got married in December.
Mm-hmm.
We both were had graduated from high school at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And with him, I had 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
All boys. I had 5 actually. One of them died
Mm-hmm.
right after birth. And
all
so,
boys.
All boys. And
I have only uncles, y'all. I have all uncles.
Yeah.
Unless they get married, then I have aunties, but all uncles. Tell me about that marriage. How did I know about it? But I know people don't know.
That marriage was, well, we were young.
We don't have to go in depth. But
We were. That marriage, there was some good times in it when we were young. You know, after we got married and everything, and we were on our own. But then there was some bad times too.
What caused that marriage to end?
Because he started to hang
The
around
first marriage.
with his cousins, and they drank, and he would go over there and he'd lose his money, and he would drink and everything, and then there was fighting between us and different stuff like that. You know, it got to the point that I just wanted out. And so we ended up splitting up.
What gave you the courage? What gave you the strength to say, you know what, before
I got tired of being beat. I hate to say it like that, but when a person starts drinking and stuff, some of them they get mean if you don't do everything they want you to do. That's right.
She got to a point where she
but couldn't take it anymore.
She couldn't take it anymore.
I was young. Remember I told you, right out of school.
As you can see, my grandma is a strong, strong woman. And like I said, in order to understand the foundation of who I am, you have to see the foundation. And of course, though the first marriage did not work out, my grandma went on, she picked herself up by her bootstraps and she kept going. And I am so inspired by her. But here is the wonderful, wonderful happily ever, okay, with my papa. If you know me, you know I love my papa, okay? It's grandma and papa, and it's been that for now. I think they celebrated their 40, maybe 60 something. 48th anniversary or something like that. They've been together forever. And so I want you all to hear how they met each other and how they got together and ultimately how he became my papa. Watch this.
And by this time I had met my second husband. This is during this time I met my second husband. And my
Papa.
I couldn't even believe that a man would act the way this man act. That my second husband. Because he kept telling me, I'm gonna give you the stars and the moon, and I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna give you that. And I used to tell him that now. I said, I'm still waiting on the stars, and the sun and the moon and everything. Anyway, he was so different, and he would take me with him to wash the boys' clothes, all of our clothes. He would take me with him, and not on what surprised me so much, I loved to read, and he knew I loved to read. And so I would take my book with me down there, and he would say, you go here and sit there and read, I got it. I'm not.
He did
He
everything.
just did everything for me. I told him
That's
tell him
a
all the
huge
time.
adjustment
I know.
from you doing
I know it,
everything.
but I told him, and I mean this. I said, but see, he knew how Arthur had been because I had told him how my first marriage was. And he told me, I told him all the time, I said, you created a monster. You know, cooking.
Everything.
He would just get in there and cook. He never would ask me to do anything. You know, like mopping the floor. That's all right, baby, I got it. Mopping the floor, washing the dishes, doing everything, you know. And the boys, he fell head over heels in love. He has one daughter, and she was within their age also, and she stayed with us for a while. He wanted to get married right away, so we had been going together a month, and he took me to a store, and bought me a set of rings. I didn't want to get married. I had vowed I would never get in that situation again. My mother and my sisters and everybody would say, I don't see why you don't marry Gordon. You know, women don't have men like Gordon. And you got the kids too. The kids be grown, and y'all still not married. And I said, well, one day, it hit me. Don't stop what you got planned, because you already got yourself planned to get your kids, get you an apartment. You got somebody that already told you they'll help you get your apartment, help you get you a job. When I got that job, and that's right, and I built airplanes.
Okay.
When I got a job,
Jets,
I got a job.
Okay. A job that, was it John that helped you or Papa that helped you get?
Papa, because the Papa, when I came to St. Louis and I got off the plane, John was there to meet me. Gordon was there to meet me, because Gordon drove down there.
Grandma is with my Papa. They are together. They are in St. Louis. Both of them are working on airplanes, building airplanes. Both are getting paid tremendously. They built this beautiful life together. Grandma goes and she gets her kids. My papa and my grandma goes and get the kids.
Before that, before we went to get the kids to bring them back, we bought a home.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we bought a home.
Yeah.
And we bought
a big, beautiful home and cars. My dad always talks about it. He always talks about the house that you all used to live in and the cars. And so they are in St. Louis. They are set up. They set themselves up beautifully. This is how I am born, in St. Louis. And so that's how we all got to St. Louis. We didn't live in DC at first. I am from and was born in St. Louis, and that's because my grandma moved to St. Louis years ago to get a job. And so you build a beautiful life together. You have your sons. They're in school. They're getting set up. And then all of a sudden...
Your father tell me his girlfriend is pregnant.
And then there was me. Not her first grandchild, but the first one that was physically there with her. And let me tell you something. All of the stories that I've heard are exactly as she's about to tell you, okay? She went all out, okay? She went all out. She had the room. She had the bassinet. She had I was brought into this world surrounded by love. These stories, especially this one, it always makes me so happy, and it's such a reminder of how much love was surrounding me at that time and now. Watch this.
Dad was in the entertainment business already, and so he was traveling from DC to St. Louis often. And after my grandma saw me in that cradle, she said,
I told him, I said, I went to see her in the hospital, and he was saying, Mom, who she look like? Who she look like? You know, he wanted to know who she look like. I say, Steve, this girl is sitting here. I'm looking at you. You look identical to him. I said, oh my God, if that's not Steve. He said, really, Mom? He was so happy. And he moved back down to St. Louis.
She done set up a whole room. I had.
Look, Jenny Lynn furniture. I'll never forget that. That furniture was beautiful. That room, it had gray carpeting. It had all the fan and the Jenny Lynn crib. And I had already had a dresser that was the same color as her crib. And it was so beautiful. I wish I had taken pictures of it.
Grandma done took over.
I took that baby.
Because she had all boys, and this was her first, not her first granddaughter, but I was
the
her
first granddaughter that was living with me.
Yeah, because Dad lived with
And
me.
I used to go out and spend $20 and $30 on her little dresses and things. I say because, hey, this is my baby. This is my baby, you know. And she would all have all the fancy little things on it. Her mother and I would go to church together. We belonged to the same church. And she was dressed like a little doll all the time with the little hats. The little hats that you tie right here, got the little. She was like a little doll baby.
Do you know how many grandchildren you have?
No.
Don't even get to start
No.
the count.
I was going.
14.
All you have to do is count the boys.
They have so many grandkids, great grandkids.
And tell her how I treat them.
I mean, just take them in, okay? It's theirs. They theirs at this point. I was 16 and pregnant, and the first person that I told that I was pregnant was my grandma.
You was 15 and pregnant.
I was 15 and pregnant. I had her at 16. But I didn't want to get rid of my baby. And as disappointed as my grandma was, she was like, "Come on, you know." They took me in because she believed in me more. She already knew who I was. She already knew what I was going to do.
I had raised you.
Yeah, exactly.
I also remember asking my grandma about some advice that she would give her grandchildren. Here is what she said.
My great grandkids, because I told you all the same thing. My great grandkids, I never wanted anything to hurt them. I didn't want them to go through no hurt. And I would always say if they got got old enough to have a little boyfriend, things are going to change. You know, a whole lot comes with having a boyfriend, you know. I say because her mama had already talked to her, but and Steve had already talked to them, but hey.
She's got to put her,
I come in, I was mama to him while he was getting his stuff together. And so that's the way.
So that's number one. Number one is you will be in relationships with people, and sometimes it will end in disappointment. It's nothing to be alarmed about. But there will be disappointment.
That's disappointment because that's their first time gonna fall in love with your first
right.
one. You never had before.
And so, if we had one more other thing to give all of your grandkids, great grandkids, what would it be? One other piece of advice or nugget that they can take.
To use your own discretion as to how to punish them. Stuff all the time. I got you one time. Only one time.
Not even with a belt.
And I got you one time. And I never did holler at you, y'all.
You never.
And let me tell you something. I hollered at my kids. Them boys, hey.
When you have,
be going crazy.
I know. When you have grandkids, it's a little different. Grandma.
But I learned. I look at this little girl and Whitney's sons, the twins, and Whitney and her husband's twins. I was telling her today. Whitney can tell her. Mello, go in the kitchen and get such and such a thing and bring it to me. You don't hear Mello say, I don't want to do that. Mello goes right in that kitchen. If Whitney says, okay, boys, it's time this is the last show you can look at. It's time for you to go and take your shower and go to bed. Those boys, you don't hear them. You don't. I used to hear my boys doing that though. My boys would be very there. We don't want to go crying and yelling and carrying on. You know, boy, get up those steps and do what I told you to do. And so, I had to do it a little differently.
This is the last question, Grandma. I don't know if anybody knows, but Grandma went into it. This was an actual scare and an actual miracle.
They were gonna operate on my heart. Go in. They were all scared to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, they did not. They didn't want
How
to
many
do it.
hospitals I
She's
went to?
older. She's older, so they didn't want to do any type of heart transplant.
They didn't think I'd make it.
They wanted to actually take her to a hospice. They didn't think that, you know, there was anything that they could do because the operation for stents was so severe that they didn't even want to make that an option. But they did place it in our hands and say, look, if that's what you want us to do, then I think we can try it. But they didn't think that she could live after it. And so they gave us options between the hospice or the high risk surgery of stents. And I was there every step of the way, listening to the nurses, listening to the doctors, making sure she was taking her medicine, the right medicine.
3 young kids.
Yes,
everything the doctor said. Everything the doctor said, and she knew the medicines and everything. She knew their name.
And they knew me. And they knew me. And
they would call her and about anything because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
anything. She couldn't do anything. And she said, "Dang, Whitney, you was there. I mean, you was you leaving, going back and forth, and doing all of this." I said, "Well, you did it for me. You did it for me." The Lord blessed my grandma and showed up miraculously. She got the stents put in. Grandma's whole face just brightened up. She's here today, and God worked a miracle, a literal miracle, and He did it in front of my entire family.
All the grandkids, the
everyone
kids,
saw
everybody.
It.
They saw it. It changed a lot of.
Thinking about where you were and now the time that you have now, what would you do differently, or what did you implement? How do you view life now?
God is supposed to be first in your life. So when that happened, I had to turn everything over to Him.
What I'm hearing is your trust in the Lord, because He's going to show up. It don't matter what, He's showing up, okay? I'm hearing that your trust in the Lord, and then also your release of control in the natural world.
That's right. That's right.
So you
when this girl went into the ministry, and Gordon told her, God is talking to you about something, telling you something, and she hasn't missed a step. She goes in and she listens to what God tells her to do. And if people will look at her like they look at a lot of ministers, and they will say, well, what a minister supposed to wear this, or a minister supposed to wear that? Minister's supposed to put up. Look, she's God's child. So she's letting God tell her what to do.
I'm so happy that we had this session. I don't know how this is going to turn out or what exactly He wants to do with it, but I just wanted to be obedient.
Overall, I'm just so happy that we're getting closer with one another through understanding my foundation. And as you all ride or walk with me, we can gain a beautiful, healthy relationship. Hey, let me shout out everyone who sent DMs to me saying, hey, you need to do a pod, you need to do a Bible study. I want you to know that I love you, I see you, and here we are. Listen, I was so scared, but I want you guys to know that the Lord was speaking through you. The Lord was speaking through you. And it was confirmation. And here we are. I listened, and I'm just so glad that I can be of service, because we're doing this together, okay? Listen, I love you, but Jesus loves you more. See about Him first, and I will talk to you later. Have a good day, guys.